إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. Indeed, we bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, is the last prophet and messenger sent by Allah for the guidance of humanity, for the guidance of the jinn, and as a rahmah, as a mercy and a compassion from Allah to the humans, to the jinn, to all of the worlds. Ila alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All thanks and praise belong to Allah alone. This is a statement, a beautiful statement of hope, a beautiful statement to remind us of what is true, to remind us of what is real, and with which we should constantly encourage each other in every condition. We begin today by wishing everyone a Ramadan Mubarak, a blessed Ramadan. And just as is the case with all of the most beautiful blessings and the most beautiful statements that we remind each other with and that share each other with, it is both a dua, it is a wish that we wish the other person, that I wish each of you have a blessed Ramadan, a Ramadan Mubarak, but it is also a statement of fact. It is also a statement, is a reminder of what we know to be true, that Ramadan is a blessed time, that Ramadan is a time when blessings pour forth, that Ramadan is a time that blessings exist on a level beyond even the specific activities that we associate with Ramadan. That there is something on a metaphysical level in a reality of the universe, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this time is different than other times. And this is something that is felt by everyone, that should be felt by the believers, by the people who are not believers, by the people who are our neighbors, by the people that we pass by. All people should feel the blessedness of this time, and we let these blessings pour forth upon us. Whenever we speak about Ramadan, because of these memories that we have and because of the blessings that exist in this time, we focus on the joy. But we also know that in Ramadan there are challenges, and especially this year, there are challenges that we're facing which make it different from other years. But the blessings are still there. The blessings are still there, and we still want to reap them. I think back of the things that I love most about Ramadan, and there are so many different things that you can love about Ramadan. You can love the big get-togethers of the iftars. You can love the night prayers. But when I think of Ramadan, I do have memories of some of those type of gatherings, but the greatest memories I have are of breaking fast in small groups of people, of having that sense of feeling hunger, of going through a day and feeling hunger, and coming to the end of that day and getting in touch with your own weakness and your own need and desire, but coming to a level of peace where you feel more at peace because of your weakness, because you don't have energy to be anxious about things. And then coming together with a small group of people and breaking fast in a simple way. And one of the beauties about fasting, especially for a long day, is that everything tastes good. All of the water quenches your thirst. All of the food tastes wonderful. And you're together with sisters and brothers in a beautiful way that bonds you with them, even if you don't say anything, even if you sit there quietly. I remember when I used to live on the southwest side of Chicago and had the beautiful chance to walk to the masjid that was on 63rd Street, to walk to the masjid and sit with a small group of people and break our fast together. And you would feel such a blessing to be in that gathering. And many times the people there would be such a random assortment of people who would come. Such a random assortment of people, some of whom you knew well, some of whom you never saw the rest of the year. And they would come and often break our fast quietly, and we would sometimes just smile at each other and share food with each other and greet each other with salam and pray with each other. But we wouldn't have a lot of conversation, but we would enjoy each other's company. Everyone has different, but those to me are the most beautiful memories that I have of Ramadan. And it hurts me this year to know that I won't be in a gathering like that. It hurts me this year to know that we won't have a gathering like I had when I first was learning about Islam at college, when I was sitting with brothers and sisters, again in a small gathering on the floor, experiencing that kind of community, experiencing that kind of connection with other people and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But yet and still, even though we don't have that same opportunity this time, we have different opportunities. We have different types of blessing. We have different types of things that we should seek benefit in and seek encouragement in. One of the messages that recurs over and over again in the Quran is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about how the alternation of night and day, talking about the change of times and seasons and the change of the affairs of our life. And indeed, one of the things that Allah wants the Prophet ﷺ to know, and that He wants us to know, is that because you have some times where you have joy, and you have some times when you have sorrow, because you have some times when you have work, and you have some times when you have rest, because you have some times when you have seasons of community, and sometimes where you have seasons of solitude, where you have sometimes where you have season of broader public and broader new relationships and friendships, and sometimes you have seasons of family and old friends. All of these seasons are part of the reality of life, and all of them have their own blessings, and all of them have their own lessons, and all of them have their own challenges, and all of them have those things which are being called forth from us, responses that are being asked of us. But what Shaitan wants us to think, and what we never should fall into the trap of, is thinking that because a season changes, because a season is not the one that we were expecting, that this means that Allah has abandoned us, or that Allah is not with us. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us in every season. He is with us in the joys and the sorrows. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is with us in community, and He is with us in solitude. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us all the time. And every season has its differences, but every season is a season for hamd. It's a season for praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every season is a season for shukr. It's a season for gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes it is only in those moments when we don't have something that we truly have the gratitude for what we had before. And sometimes it is only in that moment when we don't have that distraction that we appreciate the thing that is still with us and was with us all along. And sometimes it is only when we become alone, when we become in solitude, that we truly connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for every season is a season of taqwa, and Ramadan is the month of taqwa, the training ground of taqwa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribes fasting in this month of Ramadan, prescribes all the other acts of worship, including giving and charity, including putting smiles on people's faces, including reaching out to people that we know and people that we don't know. And all of those things are ways to develop taqwa. They are prescription from Allah to develop taqwa for ourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that after describing fasting, a fast which is not easy, a fast which is physically demanding of us, a fast which before we enter into Islam we may think is difficult or impossible. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He doesn't desire hardship for us, but He desires for us ease. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't desire us hardship, but He prescribes actions, He prescribes challenges, He prescribes things that call forth effort from us, just as anyone would, just as in any situation where you want transformation, where you want change, where you want improvement, you have to push yourself, you have to challenge yourself, you have to go beyond your comfort zone. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls us to do something that is difficult because He wants us to be a little humble. The challenge of Ramadan is that it should create humility in us. We should be enough in touch with our weakness and our emotions that we can become a little humble, because arrogance is the greatest thing that blocks us from Allah. Arrogance is the greatest shield and veil between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the thing that makes us look down on others, the thing that makes us think we're self-sufficient. This is what we have to break down. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribes fasting for us to break down our arrogance, to make us realize how much we need, to make us realize how we are in constant need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in our weakness, we don't stay there. We don't stay in our weakness and feel that we are nothing. Instead, in our weakness, we turn to Allah. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Seek assistance in patience and in prayer. And we know the beautiful thing the commentators mention is that sabr here refers to fasting. Sabr here, of course, it refers to other things as well, but one of the main meanings is fasting. So Ramadan is a month of sabr. So fasting is a way to gain sabr. So Allah is saying, through prayer, through fasting, through charity, through all our acts of worship, you are seeking assistance. And you are recognizing your weakness, you are recognizing your need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are being humbled. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about fasting, and He speaks about the process of improvement. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the process of transformation, the process of getting closer to Allah, of getting better. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. That indeed it is a difficult thing. Indeed it is a hard thing to turn to Allah, except if you've been humbled. If you've been humbled, you know there's nowhere else to turn but Allah. So my wish for all of us is that in this month, we are in touch with our feelings. We are in touch with our sadness. We are in touch with our loneliness, if we have that, as well as being in touch with all the joys and the virtues. And we are in touch with our feelings of anxiety about the future. We're in touch with everything, because that helps us in the process of humbling. That helps us in the process of humbling ourselves, so that we know we can't do it alone, and we have to turn, yes, to others around us, but even if no one else is around us, or even if those people can't do and have what we want them to have, we know that Allah is there, that Allah is always with us. During every season, during the seasons of joy, the seasons of sorrow, the seasons of community, the seasons of solitude, during the times when we don't eat or drink, and the times when we eat or drink, Allah is always there with us. And so we become of the khashi'een, we become of those who are humbly submissive and aware before Allah, and then prayer, and then fasting, and then all of the ibadah, and all of the actions that we do, and giving in charity, they all become beautiful for us. They become not a hardship anymore, but they become a beautiful expression of our relationship to Allah, and how we recognize our weakness, and we recognize how much we need Allah, but we recognize that He subhanahu wa ta'ala is there for us. So I wish you all again the most blessed of Ramadans. Please, inshallah ta'ala, make room for being in contact with people, make room for being around people, make room for helping others, and make room for being alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make this month beautiful and blessed. The month is blessed. Reap the blessings in it. This is a time for praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a time for patience and recognizing our own weaknesses. This is a time for seeing what the world needs from us and addressing that and reaching out and knowing that with the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, miracles happen. We can do things that we didn't think were possible before. May Allah bless all of you and all of your families. Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan Kareem. May you experience the most generous of Ramadans. May the blessings of this month reach everyone, the Muslims and the non-Muslims, the rich and the poor, the born Muslim and the convert, the people of every community and ethnic group. May they all experience the blessings of this beautiful month. May they all celebrate the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a guidance and a healing and a mercy for us during this beautiful month. And may we all reap the lessons of this month and the lessons of this time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you so much for listening. Inshallah ta'ala, we will have another Friday message next week. May Allah bless each of you. May you have a beautiful rest of the day. And please, inshallah ta'ala, if you have any questions or concerns or anything that I can help you with, please reach out to me. Jazakumullahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.